everybody, I made it. I'm running a couple minutes late. It's been one of those things, technical difficulty. Found out why all those technical difficulties had in the past. I've got a bad HDMI cable. Who would have thunk? So anyway, I also tried a last minute change up on the camera because I needed to. I wanted to get a close up of the cutting that we're going to be doing today, because that's kind of where all the magic happens on this thing. So you can see from the look at that magnificent view of the cutting table. That's super exciting, I know. Anyway, what we're going to be making today is, well, oh gosh, this is kind of, you're going to have to forgive me a little bit because the second camera setup, it's kind of messed up this time. We're going to be making this runner here that's made with a 60-degree triangle ruler, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Easy to make. All you need is 4 quarter-yard cuts. And I was hoping to get the strip sets sewn together before I went live, but then the last minute I had that thought of, hey, let's change the camera angle so we can get more out of this. And so then I've only made about halfway through the strip setup. So we'll get to that in just a second. And I'm sorry, you're going to have to live with the close-up of my face. I know that. Oh, that was awful. How the heck? Oh, because I'm mirror image. Okay, never mind. Okay, you all just had to sit through that. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll get into the better shots here in a minute. I mean, close to. Don't you hate those YouTube videos where somebody sits in the front of the camera like this and talks for 20 minutes about nothing? I don't want to be that dude, so we're going to have to get to cutting here in just a minute. However, we've got 2 people watching. Thanks. Like, subscribe, and share, and all that. Shop news. We've got some classes coming up. I did send an email out yesterday for that. Tomorrow we've got a cricket class. There's a great picture online of what it is. I don't have the sample here to show you. Well, it's up front to show you, but the class is pretty much already full, so I don't want to tempt you all with it. We have a table runner class next Wednesday with Brenda. She's putting together a custom quilting with your embroidery machine. That, I think we still have a couple more seats on that. If you go to our website, fourpinesquilting.com, you can see a picture of the project and sign up for that class. If you do sign up, just we do have all the machines and everything here. All you have to do is just show up. But give me a call. There are some pre-cutting that Brenda would like to have done so we can get it done in a day. But if it's not, we should be able to make it work even if you're not like fully caught up with all that stuff. Also coming up, so that's that. The next Wednesday, shortcuts for all of you that are in that. Oh, Tara block. Anybody doing the block of the month with Tara? I just got in yesterday the fabric for blocks 7, 8, and 9. So if you're doing that and you want to keep going, or you're all caught up and you want some more, come on in. I got them cut and ready to go. And I think also the Kimberbell Sewing with My Nomi happening end of April. Sign up now. We currently have 1 session planned. Check the date on that. I want to say it's April 17th or something like that. I don't know. Easter's in there somewhere, and then look on the calendar. It's online. Sign up for that if you're interested. Sign up sooner than later, because if we fill that up, we will put a second session, but we don't want to schedule that until we know that we've got enough people to fill up the first one. Now I like to make faces at myself because I'm looking at myself in the camera. So that's pretty much everything I think that we got going for shop news. Bonnie's Studio 180 class is going to be really good. She's going to be covering how to tuckerize a pattern, basically basic quilt designs, how to use the Studio 180 tools to make different blocks and whatnot for personal, to design your own kind of thing. So that class is coming up 3rd week in March, so that should be a good time too. All right, so I've rambled on for 4 minutes, and I know you're all here to see the table runner being made, and that is going to be made with using this here. This is, I don't know if you can really see it. Can you kind of see it? Anyway, it's a 60-degree ruler. There's many versions of it. This happens to be the clear view. To make this pattern, you're going to want the 12-inch version of the ruler. They do make like an 8-inch and a 10-inch, and different companies make them. At the end of the day, you just need a 60-degree triangle. And like I said, the way we're doing it, you're going to need a 12-inch version of it. The other things that you will need to make this table runner, see, I'm prepared today. I know a lot of times I'm just sitting here rambling and throwing stuff together. I prepared today. I've actually made this table runner twice. since 5 o'clock today to make sure that I've got it down right. I was hoping to get the next set of strips done, but hey, we won't worry about that. You'll also need the 60-degree ruler, your standard straight edge. You know, I like my 8.5 by 24 ruler and rotary cutter. You'll also need 4 quarter-yard cuts of coordinating fabric. So if you look at this one here, ta-da! We have 4 quarter-yard cuts, and they graduate from light to dark. So you can do it any way you want, but you need 4 quarter-yard cuts. You can do it with more if you'd like. You can do, you could get more fabrics and make the strips skinnier, and I think that would look really neat. But it would also take more time because you got to sew more strips together and whatnot. And then the fabric requirements would change a little bit. But you need, for this, you need 4 quarter-yard cuts. You have to make three. You need to make 3 strip sets of whatever fabrics you decide to use. I used 4 colors, and really, it's going to be one of those days. Oh my gosh! Just a second, everybody. I just got a low battery warning on my camera because that's just how it's going to be today. And there we go. Okay, camera's back on. Yay! We've been saved. So like I said, I did 4, you're going to need 3 strip sets of the same fabric. I was in the process of making those. So if you all want to wait just a minute, you can watch me sew them. I've got them started. And so we'll get into making this table runner right now. And if you're watching with me live, feel free to chime in and keep me company because that's how we do it here. You know, I'm talking to a camera. I like to see people on the chat board just because, you know, I feel like, oh, wow, there's somebody out there. I'm not just talking to myself, which I know most of the time I probably am just talking to myself. But we should be able to. Can we do this? Oh, look at that. You get to watch me sew. Woohoo! We're just going to do some strip sets right now. So all we're going to do is I just have, like I said, you need 3 strip sets that are exactly the same. They all have to be the same. And I'm making a green one because I thought St. Patrick's Day is coming up. And so I was going to make one for my pet leprechaun because, you know, everybody needs a table runner for their leprechaun. And so here we go. Like I said, I had hoped to have this all done before I got started here with you, but technical difficulties as well as, like I said, I had the idea of changing the camera at the last minute, which, you know, last minute changes are never good. And then I discovered that the HDMI cable is got a problem, so it looks like I'm gonna have to order another one of those. So like, subscribe, buy stuff on our website so that I can afford to buy another cable so that we don't have to start late like we did today. And I do apologize. Like I said, I had hoped to have these made before we had started today, but and then I could just hold them up and say, look at my strip sets. But to make the runner, these strips are 3 inches each. So these are going to be 3 inches. You need 3 strip sets, 3 of 3-inch strips. That's why a quarter yard will work, because 3 times 3 is 9 inches. So you got to go to a good quilt shop that gives you a real quarter yard, a little extra, you know, not somebody that's going to stingy on the quarter yard, because then you might come up a little short with the three 3-inch strips. So 3 3-inch strips is all you need to do. 3 3-inch strips of 4 different colors. So you're going to need a total of that's 4 quarter yard cuts. So it's a total of a yard of fabric, just 4 different quarter yard cuts, 3 3-inch strips. I'm hoping that all makes sense. You'll see here in just a second what I'm talking about. And as the name of the video implies, this is Sewing Badly with Brent. So I do know that I don't have the best and neatest sewing practices. This is how I do things. I throw it together. I have fun doing it. If you are a perfectionist and you notice there is an error in some of the things that I'm saying or doing, helpful criticism is always welcome. But understand that sometimes, yeah, I know I'm screwing it up. It's just the way I roll. Just throwing that out there. And I hope you can all hear me all right over the top of my machine. And it looks like Madgar's out there. Hello, Madgar. Now, am I supposed to refer to people by their screen names like Madgar, or do I call them by the name that I know they have? But then do I blow her? Because Danny, that's her screen name. Now that does that keep her from being anonymous, and is that bad to call somebody by their real name instead of their screen name when they're online? Like one of those weird sci-fi movies of, you know, was it Ready Player One where everybody was by their screen name? I don't know. I'm just rambling right now because I should have had this done 20 minutes ago. This is like watching the Yule log on Netflix, which just burns. Like for Christmas, you watch the Yule log. You can just watch me sew. Maybe I should make like a running loop of this. It's like 45 minutes long of just me sewing strips together. Wouldn't that be exciting? And we'll throw like squirrels in there too, because you know squirrels will always make for good television. So we'll have squirrels and sewing, and we'll just sew strips while the squirrels run around on the sewing table. Or maybe we'll do hedgehogs. For as much as I hate hedgehogs, you know, I'm sure they're good for television. So just bear with me. We've only got 3 more seams after this, and then we will get on to the next step. Like I said, I do apologize. I had hoped to have all of this done before you all got on here. Oh, wow. So people would watch this for 45 minutes. So you're telling me that I'm onto something then, Misty? That I should really like do that and sell it to Netflix? Be like, oh, look at the latest Netflix special, Sewing Badly with Brent. Just 45 minutes of me sewing strips together. Yeah, I don't know. That just doesn't sound like a good time. Am I zoomed in too much for that? Oh, I can come out a little bit more there so you guys get a little bit more of the action. All right. So all I'm doing is, you can see these are my 4 strips. I'll show this to you. Like I said, I wish I had gotten this done a little sooner, but you know. So these are going to be our 4 strips. As you can see, they're going from lightest green over here to darkest green over here. Because like I said, my thought was this is going to be like a St. Patrick's Day inspired table runner. And this table runner takes all, the longest part of this is sewing and pressing the strips, the strip set. After this, you're going to be amazed at how quick this thing goes together. And you'll all be like, what? Now, this isn't anything new. This table runner with the 60-degree triangle ruler was really popular a few years back. In fact, there's even a pattern you could buy for like $10 on how to do this. And I never understood it because it's like anybody that looked at one of these table runners would be like, why do I need a pattern for that? But props to the lady that wrote it, because I'm sure she made a small fortune off of it. Now, keep in mind, all of these strip sets have to be the same. And also, this is also often done with just border prints. If you get a good border print, you don't need to make a strip set. You can just cut the border print out of the fabric, and you can use a border print and make a really nice table runner. That's how this originally started, and that's what this is kind of based on. And who else we got there? Yeah, jelly rolls. You could use a jelly roll for this. That's the first time I ever did this as a strip, I did use a jelly roll. The problem you'll have with a jelly roll, though, is you're not going to have, oftentimes you won't get 3 of the same strip, because you need to have 3, you have to have 3 strip sets that are exactly the same for this to work. Now, you can get away with 2, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but it won't come out as nice, I don't think, if you do it with 2. So, on we go. And we're almost done. We just got 2 more seams. And then we get to press, which is the most... Oh, see, here's the first one I made. Since you're all sitting there watching me on YouTube and we need a break for a second. This is the first table runner I made. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's only got 3 colors, and they repeat in the middle. So you can actually do this out of 2 strips instead of 3. It's not nearly as nice, though. It's just some fabric I use because, I mean, we have this on the shelf. It's not bad fabric, but it hasn't been setting the world on fire, shall we say, as far as people buying it. So I thought if I made a table runner out of it, it might inspire some of you to purchase some fabric. Speaking of fabric, the Fabric Extravaganza in Nashua is next week. It starts on Thursday, goes through till Saturday, and it is a fantastic time. If you guys want to get some deals on fabric, that is the place to go. It's like a flea market yard sale thing all at once. The prices are great. Fabric is awesome, and it is a circus. We did one last year for the first time, and Thursday was nuts. The first day, Friday and Saturday a little bit slower because everybody's there the first day to get the best deal, get all the good stuff. But the deals go all weekend because by the time Saturday rolls around, they just want to sell stuff cheap. So it was cheap to start, and then it's like less expensive by Saturday. So if you can't make it till Saturday, not the end of the world because you still get some really good deals on Saturday. Like I said, Fabric Extravaganza. It's in Nashua, It's a really good time. It's right off the interstate. So if you're coming up from like Claremont, you got to drive across 103 to get on, oh gosh, what is it, 91? I never remember, 91, 93 south. It's right off of 93, or is it 293? Anyway, it's right off the interstate. Easy in, easy out. You do have to pay tolls, or you can just run the tolls like I always do and get a letter in the mail from Easy Pass telling you that you ran tolls and that you need to pay for it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Do a lot of people go for the neutrals and the darks? I personally prefer brights. Well, it really depends. A lot of people, neutrals are a safe bet because one of the problems you're going to run into with brights is the what was I thinking problem. Because sometimes, any of you that had Golden Harvest appliances back in the day, and I know that some of you did because the demographic that quilts, statistically speaking, one of you had to have Golden Harvest appliances back in the day, or avocado green toilet. The avocado toilet that you could get, that was kind of cool too. So that's kind of what you have to be careful of, I think, sometimes when you're quilting, is the idea that you're going to look at some of the stuff that you make like 5 years down the road and say, what was I thinking? Like with the green toilets that were prevalent back in the day, or shag carpet. Unless like Jolene, shout out to Jolene, she's a fantastic quilter. I delivered a long arm for her, and that's how I got to see her fantastic time capsule of a bathroom. It had like this really cool, I don't even know what color, it was like a maroon toilet and sink combo. It was fantastic with all the tile work. It was like awesome. And it was one of those I wish it was mine type things. But it was straight out of the 60s, the way with the color scheme. So I know I was rambling there, but that's the one thing you have to be careful of. You find these fantastic prints and the stuff that's really fun. Keep in mind that, it's a trend. There's a lot of stuff that trends. Some things are classic, like jeans and a t-shirt, never goes out of style. But then other things do go out of style, like tube tops like tube tops. But so that's one thing, like when you're trying to decide brights at the end of the day too, it's your quilt. You've got to use stuff that's fun for you and that you're going to enjoy putting together. So as far as what color to use, it's completely up to you. And so that's the end of the strip set. Now you get to look at my beautiful face. Yeah, look at that. Like I said, put on contacts this week. So, you get to see my blue eyes and be like, ooh, look at him. Isn't he a hunk of man meat? Anyway, let's see. Rosy pink. It might have been rosy pink, but I got way too close. I'm sorry. My brother has the avocado bathroom set. Yes. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you go in there and you're like, and he bought that house, that bathroom was put in like in the 60s or 70s or whenever avocado was popular because of that. And you scratch your head and say, what were they thinking? That's what you got to be careful of sometimes with quilts. I've got some at my house sitting on the shelf. Sarah can attest to this. That I look at and I think to myself, what was going through my mind when I put that together? So that's one thing, like I said, a lot of times with neutrals, the beiges, the whites, very country type neutral colors, those are classic. So those quilts, they look old the day they were made, but that old look to them is what gives them their timeless look. So when choosing your colors, have fun with it. Don't be afraid to try something, even if it might just be a fad. As long as you enjoy it and you're having fun sewing, that's what's important. And I'm going to ramble for a few minutes more while I wait for my iron to heat up. Any other questions while I'm sitting here? No. It's okay. Let's see. So that is what I always. No. You can't always paint the eggshell if you want. It doesn't hurt. I let my kids choose the color of the bathroom when they were tiny, and it was. It looks like the Incredible Hulk threw up in it. I didn't care. It wasn't my bathroom. My dad hated it. He wanted to burn the house down when he saw it, which I thought was kind of extreme because it's just a bathroom. You didn't have to use it, but But I was living in the trailer hood, so it worked. Living in the trailer hood with a lime green bathroom was fantastic. I think I was the only guy in the trailer who I had a double wide and a piano, like an upright piano and a double wide. I was living the American dream. Anyway, we've been going on for 20 minutes, so I've got to wrap this thing up in like 10, and I can now that I got the strip sets made. What we have to do next is we have to press. Yay! Okay. Sorry about the strip sets. Like I said, this is where we would be right now if I had gotten the prep work done that I wanted to do, which was make these strips. So, like I said, to make this quilt, you need to make 3 equal, or this table runner, 3 equal strip sets that are exactly the same. There's 1. There's 2. And here is number 3. And you are going to want to press this. Many of you may know of my allergy that I have to pins and irons. But in this case, I'm going to forego that allergy because this needs to be pressed for optimum outcomes. And I don't really care which direction you press the seams in. I'm sure you could figure that out at some point and, like, say, press to the light or press to the dark or whatever. You can tell that seems to probably go in every direction once I flip this over, but I don't really care. The important thing is that it's going to be flat. That's what you're aiming for when using an iron, is that it's flat. And I know everybody out there right now. Okay, somebody explain something to me. Look at that, you can see my belly while I iron. Ironing versus pressing. I know there's supposed to be a difference. But what is it? Like, it seems to me that you put an iron on something and you're pressing it, or vice versa. Is that like pressing? I don't know. Now I'm rambling. Anyway, how many people have I lost? We're up to 7 people watching. It's fantastic. We have 8, so apparently I have bored somebody to the point where they're like, why do I want to watch somebody iron? And that's a valid question too. Again, maybe we could do like the Yule log on Netflix and just have a loop of me ironing for an hour. That would be exciting. And I haven't got the edited videos posted yet. I do apologize. It got nice out last week, so I didn't spend a lot of time inside. I was out in the garage playing. I have this thing I'm working on right now. I picked up an old camper heater off of Craigslist for like $40. And I'm going to turn it into a tent heater so I can go camping in the winter and not freeze to death. And hopefully I can convince Sarah to join me, but I doubt that's ever going to happen. She'll join me in the warm weather, but not in the cold weather. But anyway, so I'm working on a tent heater, which is fantastic. I actually got it to fire up. Almost blew the garage up because of, playing with propane with a questionable spark igniters. So I'm like, I can bypass a spark igniter with a lighter. And so you hold the pilot light down too long and you put a lighter in the combustion chamber. Big old fireball. Surprised I still have all my eyebrows. But hey, nothing blew up, nothing burned down. So we call it a success. And then I promptly went and removed the thermocoupler because that was the problem. It was a bad thermocoupler. So you have a bad thermocoupler, what's the answer? Do you get a new thermocoupler? No, I want instant gratification. So I go on YouTube and find out how to bypass the thermocoupler. Now the thing works like a champ. Just can't use it inside because that wouldn't be good. All right. Now, tables. Woohoo! Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of this here shindig. This is where the magic happens. And you see, I had to change the angle so you could all see the magic happening. Because if you just, the normal angle where you just watch me and you vaguely see the board, it's not going to work. So what do we want to do with this is we're going to cut triangles out of our strip sets. Now, there's something very important to remember here. If you look at this, you have an outer border, which is the dark. These triangles are not the same when you cut them out. See, here's the leftovers from the first go-around, and you'll notice something very interesting about these triangles. If you look at that one, and you look at this one, what do you notice about those? They're both triangular. However, that one has the dark at the top, at the point. That one has the dark at the bottom. This will not go around the table runner like it's supposed to, because you see, let's imagine this is the table runner we're making.
You see how we put this on there and it brings, no, that's actually in the middle because of the way it's cut. You see how that gives us our angles? We put it on there, whereas you can't do that with this because if you go like that, it just turns it back into the strip set. So you need to keep that in mind when you're making this. Now, that is why the first one that I made, where did I put it? Oh, right here. That's why this one worked. You can make this with 2 strip sets because if you'll notice, the inner, the middle, and then the out, they're symmetrical all the way through. This is not symmetrical. It fades. If this side was the same as that side, then it wouldn't matter how we cut it. But because it's not, we have to make sure that the triangles we cut will create the effect we want. So we want the dark to be on the outside. Well, I want the dark to be on the outside, the outer border to be dark. So as I'm cutting, I'm always going to make sure that the long side of the triangle is going to be my dark border. Now, that's why we need 3 strip sets, because you need to cut a total of 4 triangles to make this work. 1 strip set is specifically just for 2 triangles. So all I'm going to do is fold it in half. So I fold it in half. I do right sides together. I suppose you could do wrong sides together, but this way the seams don't throw me off as much. Now, like I was just saying, the bottom of the triangle, which is going to be the bottom, is always going to be our outer border, which is that there. So I'm just going to drop this on there, and I'm going to put the tip down here. And I'm going to line, so the tip is right to the edge. You could come up here like that, and there's seam allowances. And I've been trying to figure this out. I think you want to go like that. That's how I did it. That's how it works. I think if you go up here, it's going to come up a little short. Could be wrong. We could experiment with that. I don't know if you guys can see that. If I turn it around, do you see the tip? How it's there, and there's a little notch, but you want the tip to be off there. You're not going to allow for the seam. Now, I don't want to cut this way because if you'll notice, that's my outer, that's going to be the outer border. That's the tip. It's not, we want this to be the base of our triangle. So if we were going to cut that way, we would just spin this bad boy around like that. So now that the dark color is the base of our triangle. And all I'm going to do is line this up. The tip's up here. And I'm just going to catch the bottom corner down here just inside the salvage because I'm going to cut an angle so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to chop that off, get rid of that. And then I'm going to spin this because I'm right-handed and just put my triangle back on there where it belongs, like so, and chop that off. Now you'll notice, now this, again, this is sewing badly with Brent. So we're going to have waste because I want to do it quick. I want to do it easy, and I don't want to waste my, I don't want to say waste my time, but I don't want to think of measurements and everything. So that actually at this point, are we back up? Okay. Sorry about that. Camera just knocked out on me for a second. So like I was saying, this here is leftovers. We don't need this. You could save it for something else. You can cut more triangles out of it, do whatever. But at this point, the base of your triangle is the dark colors. We have 2 there. And we need a total of 4 triangles like that to make this work. Because it's a 60-degree ruler. So how many 60-degree triangles does it take to make a circle? It's a math question. Come on. I know you all know the answer. 360 degrees in a circle. So it takes 6 units to make a complete circle. However, we're going to do half a unit on each side. So we only need, don't even listen to me. I'm rambling at this point. We're going to need 4 triangles. You'll see why in a second. In 1 second. All right. So that's that. So like I said, the next, we want to get another set of triangles that has the base is going to be the green because that's our outer border. So I'm going to layer the other 2 strips. Now, I didn't fold this one in half. The first one we folded in half to get the 2. This one here, we're going to layer 2 of them right sides together. Again, you could do wrong sides together if you wanted to, but going right sides together, you won't have to worry. You won't have to worry about the seams not laying flat. And then all I'm going to do, again, Let me turn it around so you guys can see what I'm doing better. Better angle for you. So these, did I have it right the first time? I had it right the first time. Oh my gosh. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, see, I did this a million times, putting it together the first time. Again, the tip of your triangle is just right to the edge there. The bottom, because this is where the dark is at on the bottom, is my base. I am just going to bring the the edge of the triangle is going to come right up to just off of the salvage there. And just to make my life easy, I'm going to cut this side first because I'm right-handed. And move that out of the way ever so carefully. And I'm going to turn that around and put that here like so. All right. So you'll notice now we have 4 triangles that have our outer border as the base. The base of the triangle has to be the outer border. Now, the base always is your outer border. So what that's going to cause us a problem here, because if you look now, the base here is this color because we have the angle coming this way. So this is actually the tip. So what we have to do now is actually cut one more triangle out of this to reverse the angle so that becomes the outside. This will make sense in just a second. So this is the side that we just cut the triangles off of. We're just going to cut one more triangle and keep them, and these triangles are going to be left over. You don't need these triangles for anything. You could probably use them. And I suppose if I got smart, I'd figure out how to make 2 table, you can make 2 table runners out of probably out of 5 strips if you did it right. So those, again, these aren't going to work because you see the bottom is the light color, not the dark color. But what that does do for us is puts the dark color back at the top. And then all we're going to do is we're going to come over to this side here. The dark is at the bottom. So all we're going to do here is, again, if you'll notice we have a trapezoid now. This angle goes up. So this is, imagine if this triangle continued. So the trapezoid, the long side is going to be our outer border, which is the dark. And the same thing, I'm just lining the top up with that. This bottom quarter here is just inside the salvage because we're going to chop that off. So here we go, like that. Now, what you have is you should have a trapezoid. Look, a trapezoid, yay. What makes the trapezoid? You have 2 parallel lines. That makes it a trapezoid. Yeah, 2 parallel lines. If you had one set of parallel lines, if you had 2 sets of parallel lines, it'd be a quadra, I don't know, parallelogram. That's what I want to say. So you'll see, notice the base, the longest strip is always the outer border. And so you can see now why we did that, because these go like this, and this will go all the way around. Look at that. Woohoo! And I know you all want to see it done, and we made it this far. We're almost done at this point. You can see how if I had gotten these strips done before we started, that if I had the strips done before we started, then we would be done by now, because you saw that sewing the strips and ironing the strips took all the time. Now we're just going to finish putting this together. And I will bring it over to the machine so you all can see it in action. Now, when you do this, all you're going to do is take one of these here. You're going to take that guy there, and you're going to take this guy here, and you're going to put the 2 dark sides together, line that up. Now, if you were smart and figured out how to do the thing with the seams, you could lock them in and all that. I don't really care. All you want to do is when you sew up the side here, make sure that those seams hit the same spot, because that's what's going to give you that nice piece around the edge. And so all I'm doing as I sew, I'm just going to make sure that those line up. You're on the bias. You got a little bit of stretch there, so you can always kind of make it work. I just want to make sure that those seams line up. Like I said, you could go through and finger press them in opposite directions to make it work. But again, like I said, this is sewing badly with Brent, so I really don't care. All right. And I'm chain stitching, so I'm just going to take this next one, do the same thing. Put our, let's go down here more. All I'm going to do is take that. We're going to take the
greens and just kind of line them up just like that, lining up all those seams together like so. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. You can, like I said, you could do more strips or fewer strips if you wanted to create a different look. Just keep in mind the size of the ruler that I was using was a 12-inch ruler. So you can't have a strip that's any wider. You can't have a strip that's any wider than 12 inches because then you wouldn't be able to cut the you wouldn't be able to cut the 60-degree rule, the 60-degree strips, because your ruler wouldn't be big enough. And the other thing to keep in mind too, as the strips get wider, your runner is going to get shorter because you have to cut the shapes out of it. You have to have enough off those strips to get the to the 4 triangles you need. You could do a 4th strip if you wanted to make a longer runner and cut less off of the pair that you need. But I don't know how long of a table you have. And I still don't understand table runners myself, because you put them on the table and you can't use the table. Or you're always taking them off before you eat or whatever. So, but people like runners, so I'm going to make a runner. All right. That's that. And we're just going to do this last side. And there's one more step that you got to do to kind of make life easy. And you'll all see it here in just a second. We're just about done. And I don't even think it's 10 o'clock yet. How long have we been? We've been rambling for 40 minutes. Look at that. Again, you can see I'm just lining up the strips and sending them through. I suppose if I had a, well, I'll get into that later. All right, and so what we're going to have now is you're going to see that we have 2 halves of our table runner. Check this out. Look at that. That folds out like so. But we have to do some pressing / ironing / whatever. So let's bring it over to the ironing board. And hopefully our iron's still hot from our last foray into the ironing world. And all we're going to do is just press that out. And I've kind of lined up. I kind of sped through this, so it's going to be off the hair. Don't hold it against me. And I got to show you the one last bit too that we have to do, or that I was doing. Like I said, I made I've been kicking the idea around of doing this for a week or so. I actually sat down and did it this afternoon. So I'm sure that you can refine it. But again, you know, if I'm going to call the show Sewing Badly with Brent, then do I really have to go too far out? All right. I'm going to go to the table one last time, because what you've got is your seam allowance. Well, not your seam allowance, but you'll notice if you look at this, I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it on the angle there. Because your 1/4 inch, which, like I said, I think I might have, if I would, I don't know how to cut it. I'm not going to get into that. You got a little bit of your seam right there. If you look closely, you can see where it jogs in a little bit. I don't know. You can kind of see it there. It kind of jogs in a little bit. All I'm going to do is grab this like this and just cut that 1/4 inch off, or 1/8 inch, or whatever it is, just to even that out. Not the end of the world, but I knew that was going to happen, and I'm sure there's a way to avoid it. But for the 2 minutes it takes, or the 30 seconds or 15 seconds it takes me to cut it off, I'm not going to waste a lot of time in the math trying to figure out how to make that not happen when I sew it, because it's not like I sew precise enough anyway that it's going to make a difference. So that takes care of that. Moving on. Boom. And wow, that was a friggin' fantastic sight you guys got to see there when I was sitting down. All right. We're going to take our 2 halves that you can now see clearly, and just put the lights in the middle and the, like I said, right sides together. And when you're doing this, like I said, you always just kind of want to keep an eye on the seams here as you're sewing it. If you keep those lined up, it'll look better when you're done, because that's what gives you that continuity, that spiral effect, or spiral, or whatever you call it. And what did I do? Okay. Look, watch the magic. Watch the magic of the dream machine. Whee! It just threaded. Yay for me. That's why like broken thread on this machine doesn't really irritate me like it does on like it used to on like other machines that I've sewn on. And that's the pivot function you'll notice too happening there, because once you have the pivot function, you see how it comes up every time I stop? That is fantastic. Once you get used to that, it's hard to go back to anything else. And this right here, where that's coming together, if I hadn't trimmed that off, you'd have that, it'd be kind of a weird seam trying to work in there. And that's it. Look at that. We're going to be done here in just a second. And then all I'm going to do as I get closer to this, I probably should have sewn a little better because I'm off a hair. But there we go. Woohoo! And like I said, I'm just kind of pulling that in because you kind of got that bias cut angle thing going on, so you can kind of pull stuff into where it needs to be. And, or you could just sew better in the first place and it would all line up. But, you know, that's not how I roll. Not at all. See, what I'll do is I'll give this as a gift to somebody that doesn't sew so they don't know how bad that it really is. All right. Woo-wee, look at that. And let me see if I can get that back a little bit so you're not like looking at my nostril. All right. So there you go. That was it. That was the process. And there you go. See, that's a nice St. Patrick's Day table runner. Maybe I'll do one on how to like quilt it after. That would be kind of a fun thing. Maybe we'll do that like next week or the week after next or next time we do this thing. So there you go. All you needed was 4 1/4-yard cuts, and you take those 4 1/4-yard cuts, make 3 3-inch strips, and make 3 identical strip sets of 4 strips each, and then cut them as demonstrated here and sew them together as demonstrated here, and you have yourself a table runner. And if you this making the strip sets is what took all the time. After that, you saw how quick that went together. That is the that's what I was going to show you tonight. I hope you all got something out of it. And look at that, we're not even at the 45-minute mark, so that means we're doing good. So if I do have to edit this, it's not going to take me like 6 days. Any questions? You know, we always do the open it up for questions when we get done, just because that's might as well. We're live, right? So why go live if you're not going to talk to everybody? And there's nobody. Well, Misty's in there participating. Maybe I should start giving out participation grades like they used to do in like elementary school. You get like the you get that. He's like, you're going to get so many points for participating. And when you didn't participate, you know, they sent a note home to your mom. Brent doesn't like to participate in class. Not that ever happened. I think I got one for Eddie like that one. Eddie's very quiet. He needs to participate more. Yeah, that's kind of like Eddie's thing for life. He's got to participate more. But hey, you know, whatever. We love him because he's a good guy. So, I guess that's it. I'm going to ramble. Unless, like I said, if you all got something you want to ask real quick, well, you've got me here, the expert of nothing. You know, like that Seinfeld episode, a show about nothing. That's me. I know you got a lot of useless information. But that's what we got going on. We got 43. Let's see. This baby boy's bed. Oh, yeah. Leonidas. What happened to my arm? Looks like I cut myself somehow. Anyway. Thanks for watching. Go to our website, 4pinesquilting.com, and buy stuff off our website so that I feel like this amounts to something. Or come visit us in the shop. We're right here in Claremont, New Hampshire, in the Market Basket Plaza, across the parking lot from Hobby Lobby. Prices are good, $9.95 a yard. You can't go wrong. Some of it's even less expensive. We do $5 shipping on all orders. Anything over 100 ships for free. And like I said, the fabric extravaganza is next week. You want to go check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check out our calendar on our website for classes and upcoming events. And always feel free to shoot me a message on Facebook or shoot me an email, info@4pinesquilting.com. I try to respond as quickly as I can, you know, because I got a million things I'm doing, but I will respond. And if you have any questions, feel free to call. Feel free to stop by and tell your friends and stuff. And I'm going to make faces for a minute before I sign off because I can see myself in the camera and it's kind of, you know. Anyway, now I'm just rambling, so I should probably cut this thing off because Sarah's going to message me or call me here in a minute and tell me to shut up and get off the camera. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, share, subscribe, and point at the screen. Because I watch YouTube videos and they point at the screen and like little bubbles pop up. I don't know how to do that, so I'll just point and act like I know what I'm doing. And you know, if there's an editor out there, somebody that likes to edit and wants to edit these, let me know. I can pay you in Trident layers. Yeah, nobody pays me in Trident layers, but I can pay you in Trident layers. And yes, go to fourpointsquilting.com and shop. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with me. Yeah, thank you everybody for putting up with me. Sometimes I wonder why you do it, but hey, I'm not going to complain. I appreciate you all. I appreciate my customers. I appreciate everybody that makes this possible for me to do this. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Oh, and I got to get past the camera and end stream. Yes, I want a nice